Welcome to Beyond the Old West, where we reveal the untold secrets of Wild West history that you won't find in the typical cowboy stories. The Wild West wasn't just about gunfights and outlaws. It was home to a rich culture and complex societies of Native American tribes whose lives and practices remain a mystery to many. From their social structures to their spiritual practices, the truth about Native American life is far more intricate than we've been led to believe. But before we dive into these incredible secrets, I want to hear from you. Where are you joining us from today? If you're ready to explore the hidden stories of the Wild West, don't forget to subscribe to Beyond the Old West for more amazing discoveries from the frontier. Now, let's get into these 5 shocking truths that will completely change your understanding of Native American life in the Wild West. Top 1. The complex social structures of Native tribes. When we think about Native American tribes in the Wild West, we often picture them as small groups of warriors, hunters, and nomads. But here's the surprising truth. These tribes were incredibly organized and had complex social structures that rivaled the political systems of the time. The Iroquois and Navajo tribes, for example, had highly sophisticated systems of governance, and their leaders were chosen based on merit and community approval, not inheritance or force. One of the most fascinating aspects of Native American society is the role of women. In tribes like the Iroquois, women were not only the backbone of the family, but also held significant political power. They were responsible for choosing and even removing leaders. In fact, the Iroquois Confederacy was founded on a matrilineal system, where family ties through mothers were valued above those through fathers. Women's councils played a vital role in shaping the future of the tribe and made decisions about everything from war to peace. Think about this for a moment. How many societies today can say that women have such political influence? The Iroquois women didn't just influence decisions, they were a driving force in the tribe's survival and success. Now, here's a question for you. What do you think about the idea of women holding power in societies where men are usually seen as the leaders? Do you think this is something that could have changed the course of history if more cultures had adopted such practices? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. Top 2. The role of women in Native American tribes. When we think of Native American societies, we often picture male warriors leading the charge. However, the role of women in these communities was far more significant than most people realize. In fact, in many tribes, women held powerful roles that were critical to the survival and success of their people. In the Iroquois Confederacy, women were the real power behind the scenes. They didn't just manage households, they were responsible for the selection of chiefs and had the ability to remove them from power if they were not fulfilling their duties. This unique matrilineal system placed immense power in the hands of women, making them central to the tribe's leadership and decisions. In other tribes, like the Navajo, women were not only in charge of domestic life, but were also key to managing land, ensuring food production, and overseeing trade. They were often the primary caretakers of the family's well-being, and their role in economic decisions was invaluable. But here's the part that might surprise you. Many women also served as spiritual leaders and healers in their communities. They played central roles in medicine, using natural remedies, and were often consulted for their knowledge of herbal remedies and spiritual healing. Now think about this. How would our history have been different if women in other societies had been given such power and responsibility? Imagine the changes in the course of history if women's voices had been as central in political decisions as in Native American cultures. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about women's roles in these societies? Top 3. Native American spiritual and ceremonial practices. When we think of Native American spirituality, we often imagine dream catchers and the occasional shaman in a trance. But the truth is, the spiritual and ceremonial life of Native American tribes was far more complex and deeply ingrained in their daily existence. These practices were not just rituals, they were the very foundation of their culture and way of life. Take, for instance, the sun dance practiced by the Sioux and other Plains tribes. This was one of the most important spiritual ceremonies, where participants would endure extreme physical pain and fasting as an offering to the spirits for strength, healing, and guidance. This ceremonial dance wasn't just about physical endurance. It was a spiritual cleansing and a way to connect with the divine. Similarly, the Navajo had complex healing ceremonies that used sacred chants, herbal remedies, and even sand paintings to restore balance to the body and soul. Spiritual leaders or medicine men would guide people through these ceremonies, which were seen as essential for maintaining harmony with the earth. What's even more fascinating is how these spiritual practices were interwoven with nature. Native Americans saw themselves as stewards of the land, with a deep respect for the earth's energies and the balance between all living things. Many rituals were tied to the seasons, animal spirits, and the cycle of life, reinforcing the profound connection between humanity and the natural world. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you think these deep spiritual connections to nature influence the way Native Americans lived? Can we learn anything from their view of the world today? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Top 4. Native American farming and agriculture. When we think of Native Americans, many of us imagine hunters and warriors. However, the truth is that agriculture was a crucial part of their lives, often overlooked in traditional accounts of the Wild West. Native American farming wasn't just about sustenance, it was about respecting the land, adapting to its rhythms, and developing advanced agricultural techniques that helped tribes thrive for centuries. Many tribes, especially those in the Southwest, like the Navajo and Pueblo, were skilled farmers who grew crops like corn, beans, and squash. These 3 crops, often referred to as the 3 sisters, were grown together in a system that promoted soil health and ensured food security. The crops complemented each other, with corn providing a natural trellis for beans to climb, and squash creating ground cover to retain moisture and prevent weeds. But it wasn't just about planting and harvesting. Native Americans were also adept at using irrigation systems to water their crops in the arid Southwest. The Hohokam people, for example, created extensive irrigation canals that allowed them to farm in an otherwise water-scarce region. These systems were complex and allowed crops to thrive in an otherwise hostile environment. Now, here's something to think about. We often hear about the Plains Indians and their hunting traditions, but how many of us realize that many tribes also had thriving agricultural systems? Native Americans didn't just depend on the land, they cultivated it with incredible knowledge and respect for nature. What do you think? Could we learn something from their sustainable agricultural practices today? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As we've seen today, the lives of Native Americans in the Wild West were far more complex and rich than the myths and legends we often hear. From the powerful roles of women in decision-making to their advanced agricultural techniques and vast trade networks, Native American societies were built on ingenuity, resilience, and a deep respect for nature. These untold secrets remind us that Native Americans weren't just a part of the Wild West, they were integral to its history and survival. The history of Native American life in the Wild West continues to be full of surprises, and there's still so much more to uncover. If you found these stories as fascinating as I did, Don't forget to subscribe to Beyond the Old West for more incredible insights into this untold history. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic. What surprised you most about Native American life in the Wild West? Share your comments below and stay tuned for more stories from the frontier.